Welcome everyone to a festive episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your host, joining the machine Hughes, and joining me this day after Boxing Day, at time of recording, is the random dude, Josh. Josh, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Have you had a good one, sir?
I have. It has been a very relaxing holiday, and I must say I had a blast on the Wonder Woman 1984 special.
Yes, I had a great time with that as well. Thank you for the invite to join that. For those that have no idea what we're talking about, you need to go and check out the UCPN. As always, we are there with the down low the day after Wonder Woman 84 premieres in cinemas in the States and HBO Max. We are there with our own definitive take on that book, on that movie. See what I did there? See what I did there?
I like what you did there.
Yeah. Some fancy wordplay. Check me out. Woo!
Mhm.
Yes, I didn't get a book, How to Podcast for Dummies for Christmas. Although maybe I should write one. But,
I read it.
Yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, I should do that. All right, okay. So, in the gap between Christmas and New Year, publishing schedules take a bit of a beating. No new comics in the UK between Christmas and New Year, thanks to the miraculous thing that's called bank holidays. So we're taking a leaf from Wonder Woman, '84.
Not a swing.
Not a swing. No, we're taking a leaf. And we're going to go with a top 10 Batman movies. And I know what you're saying, all you Batman fans there are counting on your fingers. We are, for this episode, we are going to include Batman versus Superman, and we're going to include the Justice League. And before anybody gets all prissy and their pants in a pinch, I'm sorry, the Mask of the Phantasm is disqualified because we're talking live action only. All right. Otherwise, if we did animation, what's the point? You're not going to listen to us when we're all going to agree that Phantasm's up at number one. So
I don't know. Under the red hood.
Whatever. Phantasm number one. All right. Okay.
Anyway,
Let's get started. So we're going to talk about these chronologically so we can have a bit of a banter about it and then put it in where we want to see it in our top 10, which we'll show you later on so you can see the full definitive list. So chronologically, we of course need to start with that Batman movie. There you go. Batman
right there.
Yeah, check that out. The oh man, the sides of this rectangle are just the angles of this rectangle are just too big to compute. What a sparkling little gem this is.
Oh yes.
Josh, Adam West, Batman. So many, he is the Batman. For so many, he's the reason why Batman is a camp crusader. Your thoughts on this movie?
It is, if you go into it understanding that it's based off of the TV show, so it's still going to be campy as hell. But that being said, you're getting the four most popular villains of that series. You're getting Cesar Romero as the Joker, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, who to this day still takes the number one spot for the greatest Riddler ever. And then Lee Merriweather as Catwoman. What I mean, for that time period, what an all-star cast.
Absolutely. I think I would have preferred to see Julie Newmar, but I think she would have just stole the show without a shadow of a doubt.
But if you had to pick between Lee Merriweather and Eartha Kitt, we both know the answer to that question.
Hell yeah. Lee Merriweather every time.
Exactly. The other fantastic thing about this movie, not only do we get to see obviously the Batmobile and more with that, but we get the Batboat. We get the Batcopter.
Get the Batcopter.
We get an exploding shark.
Shark repellent bat spray.
And shark repellent bat spray. I mean, just the great lengths that they took for this movie, they never could have done on the TV show.
No, exactly. You even get to see how they change their outfits down the back pole.
Yeah.
And you get to go back up the damn thing.
And what's funny is they actually used that scene. It's the only time that Batman really went up prior. But in seasons 2 and 3 of the TV series, they actually use that scene of Batman going up in the show.
Definitely good to do. Even Bruce Wayne gets some action in this.
Mm-hmm.
Not about the love action, because we all know he's a smooth player, but he gets some fisticuffs going on, and of course it has the iconic scene of some days you just can't.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. That entire scene of him running around was just fantastic. Like, honestly, fantastic writing and direction. Like, let's throw everything possible, even the ducks.
Yeah.
And to have all of a sudden Batman in his frustration put the bomb down, middle of his face. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And to have Adam West comment about that particular line going, God, I hope they're not talking about my career.
I have a lot of love for Batman 66. It's the Batman it's the show that got me involved in Batman all the way back when. It also has my first girlfriend in it, Batgirl. Of course, she doesn't know that, so don't tell her that.
Well, poor Von Craig.
Yeah, when she passed away, my 9-year-old self did shed a tear. So
I think we all did.
But you mentioned that Gorshin's the best Riddler. Hashtag crazy comment. Are you ready? Cesar Romero's the best Joker. There you go. I'm going to let that happen. Yeah. I absolutely. There's just so much glee, some mirth, some darkness to it. In fact, he's got his little tash going on under his makeup. The whole thing. For me, this movie's like, I don't know. Every time it's on the box, I watch it. I know I've got the DVD, and I know it's there. I know I've got the box set of all the episodes. Mm-hmm. But where else are you going to get four villains? And the Penguin, Burgess Meredith.
Oh, Burgess Meredith was.
Oh man!
I mean, he nailed that role.
Okay, you absolutely did. All right, so a lot of love for Batman '89. We've got 10 movies to go. Josh, where would you put '89 in your list, my friend?
Wait, 89 or 66?
66. Sorry, Batman '66.
Oh,
told you.
I would put 66 at. I'd put it at 4.
All right. I am going to be a little bit more generous, and I am going to put Batman 66. I'm putting it at 3, baby.
So I considered it, but as I looked through the list, and I'll explain my reasoning later on in the show.
All right, Batman 66 is gone. Of course, when we talk about Batman 66, we then have to talk about the very next movie, the one that gave us the Dark Knight himself. Back to no Prime West anymore now. It's all about the rubber.
Mm-hmm. The rubber.
What can I say? Check his wallet, man. So I recently rewatched this over the last week to get in the mood for this. So we're talking about Batman '89. Here we go. Batman '89. Jack Nicholson tour de force. I say Jack Nicholson tour de force because you know what? This started the whole trend where the villains were more important than the heroes. Keaton's as Batman. You've got Michael Gough as Alfred, a really good Alfred, it has to be said. You've got Kim Basinger as Screamer. I mean, Vicky Vale. Sorry. I do get the two mixed up. And of course, as we said, Jack Nicholson. This is This is Tim Burton kind of being shackled a little bit by the studios to do a Tim Burton movie. Batman 89.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts? It broke the pre-internet, you said earlier, but now
well, yeah, because you go back and you read the stories when the movie posters were out everywhere, the studio was having to replace them because people would bust down the glass and steal the movie poster. And to have a poster of just the symbol was huge. And the fact that this is so different from 66. It's darker, it's grittier. And it really kind of set the tone for superhero movies. Nothing against Superman with Christopher Reeve, rest in peace. But this really changed comic book movies moving forward. The Batmobile in this.
This is your favorite Batmobile, isn't it?
Actually, 66 is my favorite, only because I've actually driven the damn thing.
Oh, hey, there you go.
So, but the 89 Batmobile, I mean, you look at, I know we're not including the animated series like Mask of the Phantasm in this list, but you look at the Batmobile from the animated series and it's inspired from this Batmobile.
From the Shields Up version, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
You look at the costume. It's dark and rubber everywhere, but
I don't normally mind that in certain films. Just saying.
Wrong show.
Damn it.
The interesting thing about this movie, and it's a nuance that even today I don't know how I feel about it. The change of the emblem on the Batsuit. I like it, but at the same time, I still don't know how I feel about that being changed.
I have no feelings about it one way or the other. I think it's just an aesthetic. If you're gonna talk about the symbol, then you've got to talk about the fact there's no blue trunks.
Honestly, I was okay with that, with no trunks, because of the fact that they're wanting to go all black. But I mean, you go from the emblem that we all know to this very, very different style of emblem. Zoom in on that for those of you watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I think there's bigger changes afoot. I mean, for me, this is just an aesthetic. But when I talk to people about Batman, like non-comic book fans, they'll say, "Eee, isn't it? I didn't realize the Joker killed his parents." I'm like, Joker didn't kill his parents.
Yeah,
damn you, writers' strike of 1988, stroke 89. Damn you to hell. That's where we end up with a hodgepodge segue into the final act of this movie.
That one I know definitely created a bunch of controversy because of the fact that we all know that it was Joe Chill that killed Thomas and Martha Wayne, not Jack Napier. This also, I think, started the trend of Batman killing the villains in the third act.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, he did. But
at least Michael Keaton's Batman killing the villains in the third act.
I think that alludes more to cinema goers more than anything else. I've got to be honest, I didn't recognize that for this movie or any of the Batman movies because I know people say, "Oh, there's a death count, there's this, that, and the other." I never even thought about it. To me, it was just a Batman movie. I don't need to see the A-Team where the car gets blown up and then everybody crawls out alive. I don't think of. I just don't think about it. I just watch it for what it is. So, to be honest,
and I completely agree. It just I noticed that trend as I was rewatching all of them. you know, Jack Nicholson's performance in this was amazing, of course. And when they had the special anniversary, like the Batman, what, the 75th or 80th anniversary, where they were re-showing all the films in theaters. Out of all four, this was the one that I was like, I want to see this in theaters, because I had seen Batman Returns in theaters. I'd seen Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, but this is the one that I never did see in theaters. So I was super excited for the opportunity.
I saw this at the cinema. I saw this at the Darlington Odeon. There you go. Me, the friends went, and they were cinema students at the time. So all the car ride back, all I got was all the like, oh, well, the lighting was this, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, but did you not realize that when Bruce goes into Vicky's apartment, he says the exact same thing that the Joker says? When Vicky, it's like it's showing you the same characters, just different sides of the coin. They're like, oh no, but the lighting of this. Blah, blah, blah. All right, fine, you snobs, whatever. All right, Batman '89 started the trend. Josh, where's this go on your list?
This one's 3.
Batman '89 is 3 for Josh. For me, it is 4. There you go. So we both agree that there are 2 movies better than 66 and 89.
Yep.
Oh. All right, then. All right, next up. We'll keep it chronological.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks to the rip-roaring success that was Batman '89, of course, Batman was bound to return. 2. I swear to God, I just made these up. This time around, you get 2 villains for the price of 1. Well, 2, 3 if you count Max Schreck as an empty shirt. But still, he's in there. Of course, it is a more Tim Burton version of Batman. You know, a lot more murder, a lot more fantasticism, if that's the word. Bit of fairy tale, a bit of gothic fairy tale in there. Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Danny DeVito, a grotesque penguin. And of course, Keaton returning as Bruce Wayne's Batman. Josh, I think when we were on the Wonder Woman 84 pod, we mentioned how Wonder Woman 84, the cheetah character, had similarities to Catwoman from this. Is that right?
A little bit.
Yeah, cool. So, Batman Returns. I went to the pictures. I saw this twice, mainly because I didn't want to watch Memphis Belle again. But, you know, hey ho. Thoughts on this one?
I love this one.
Yeah,
out of the Keaton movies, this one is my favorite. Not only do we get, I feel like more of the Batman comic-y feel that we would have now.
Yep.
Where 89 Batman, that's more of the Bob Kane, Bill Finger type Batman.
Yeah, I can see how you say that. Yeah, definitely a bit of Dick Sprang in there. Yeah, because the way Axis is with the smiling windows. Yeah, very, very aesthetic. Yeah, I'll go with that.
We definitely get, obviously, Michelle Pfeiffer's performance as Catwoman.
Perfect.
Exactly. I have issues with Danny DeVito's Penguin, but that's based more off of the direction from Tim Burton. So
yeah.
I can't fault it too much. I have to talk about Alfred in this one because Alfred was fantastic in this one.
Okay.
He was great in the first one, don't get me wrong. But this is where I think it really set the tone for how Alfred is.
Yeah.
Being there was a lot of similarities between Batman Returns Alfred and Batman 66 Alfred from the TV show, where Alfred does a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Max Schreck, Christopher Walken's performance, honestly, you can't complain. He added a dynamic to everything that honestly made it fun.
Oh man, he was 100% Hamosaurus.
I would rather watch Max Shrek than Max Lord any day.
Agreed, 1 gazillion million. Although that white wig was bonkers percent. Yeah, he's a good old Hamosaurus driving the plot forward. He's it's good.
And I feel this movie didn't have any lull or down moments. Batman 89 did.
Oh man, it was Batman 89 was there was some chewy scenes in it, definitely.
Yeah.
This is pacier by far.
Yeah, this is definitely not a Tom King pace type movie.
No, I love Batman Returns. I went, as I said, I saw this at the pictures, once with my then girlfriend, and then once with the same studio heads that wanted to see the 89 movie, but they wanted to go see something a little pretentious, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I've come all the way to the cinema. I'm going to watch something fun. I'm going to watch Batman Returns again. Apart from the rubber duck and the stupid way it goes up and down the sewers, which is it's only one irksome bit. My other irksome bit, and people call me a fetishist for this, and I'm really, really, really not. I'm not that type of person. Well, I am, but not about this. Catwoman's heels. Yeah. Hashtag not enough fishnets. Catwoman's heels, and this happens in Rises as well. If you're going to show her in heels, high heels, stiletto heels, and then you expect her to do cartwheels, and then in the scenes when she does the cartwheels and the fights, she's then flat-footed. That's telling you something. That's telling you the aesthetic doesn't work with what you want the character to do. Find a different solution. All right, because it really bugs my eye when I see her walking there in a high heels, and then all of a sudden she's without shoes. Same as Rises when they have the fight in the rooftop. Yeah. You know, you see it. They make a great emphasis of showing her the leg as she's getting the guy with the gun, you know, with the heel in his wrist and stuff. Yeah. And then when you see a fight, she's wearing flats. It's like, I don't have a heel thing. I don't have a flat thing. What I have is pick one and stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of thing that bugs me about this movie. I love the daft comedy moments. You know, the whole when they're kissing on the couch and they're trying to hide the scars from each other. I think that was class. Oh, yeah, it's cheese on toast with the whole mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it. Yeah, but you know that vibe shows up again later on in a different movie.
And not only that, but it also sets the tone for, at least I feel, for the Batman Catwoman love interest that even today in the comics is still there.
I really love this movie. I agree. DeVito's performance is great. The segue between sewer monster to politician back to sewer monster is a little bit jarring at times, but you know what? It's a Christmas movie, so I'm going to give it that as well. Where would you put Batman Returns?
That would be number 2 for me.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on this one. There we are. Batman Returns, number 2. Totally agree. All right. Of course, man cannot live in darkness alone. Every now and again, you've got to throw some neon green on everything, and things take a little bit of a more comedic turn with Batman Forever. So here we go. We have a change of cowl. We have Val Kilmer as Bats. We have Tommy Lee Jones, who thinks he's the Joker when he's trying to be Two-Face. You've got Jim Carrey, who's trying to be Frank Gorshin and fails miserably. Nicole Kidman is the screamathon, but doesn't scream that much and looks great in thigh highs and negligees. Chris O'Donnell is the Robin, the Not a Boy Wonder. Did you know, interesting fact, that Christian Bale also tried out for the Robin role in this movie?
Yeah, because if I recall, this was around this shortly after he filmed Newsies. And so he was of age, but he would have been, wasted.
Robin. Yeah, would have been wasted in this. All right, okay, so this is taking it to the next level. You know, you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got Michael Gough returning as Alfred. You've got Pat Hingle in there as Commissioner Gordon, who was in the first two Tim Burton movies.
Actually, he's in all of the anthology.
Director this time is Joe Schumacher. I believe you'd have to check the credits, but I think Burton's in there as a producer, which is a hashtag for I'm not doing anything with the movie, but I just want my name on it. Wonder if that changed in the next one. I recently watched this again last week. Thoughts on Batman Forever? I love it when Josh doesn't want to say anything bad because he just stays nice and quiet. Should we just go for the number? Should we just go straight to the number for this one?
No. It's fun to watch. There's some very comedic aspects to it. I still get distracted with the damn nipples and the cod piece.
There's more about you than it does about the film. Just saying.
I mean, the relationship between Batman and Dr. Chase Meridian didn't quite feel that was necessary. The over-sexualized Nicole Kidman trying to get under Batman's cape. I feel this was a car.
Chicks like the car.
The car, right? Chicks like the car. I feel this is a wasted opportunity. I think Val Kilmer could have really taken this role and run with it. I think he did a relatively decent job as far as playing both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Two-Face, wasted opportunity. Tommy Lee Jones had such a cool opportunity, but due to the writing and the direction, we get a 50s style or 60s style Two-Face, which is what this movie is really kind of themed after. It's themed after the 60s.
Well, I think this is supposedly a serious movie. I don't think it's.
No.
I think the next one's more 60s than this. I think this.
In fact, it was one of the lower producers was talking that this was supposed to be off of the 60s, where Batman and Robin is based more off of the cartoon, like Brave and the Bold.
All right, okay. So I mean,
Jim Carrey as the Riddler, trying to take his interpretation of Frank Gorshin's Riddler and make it his own. I can take it or leave it. Is it bad? It's just,
but
that's how Jim Carrey is.
Yeah, but Gorshin wasn't loud. When Gorshin actually tones his volume down, when he's been all maniacal and running around all like hepped up on stuff, I don't worry about it. But when Gorshin stops and he lowers his voice, that's when I start to worry.
And that's why Frank Gorshin takes the spot for the best Riddler.
This is just shouting on top of shouting. The Two-Face character, I agree. I mean, he flips a coin, gets the wrong decision, then flips it again. That's not Two-Face. Two-Face flips the coin, catches it. If it says you do good, you do good. If it says you do bad, you do bad. That's it. The rules. You don't go.
And again, it's that at that point, it's poor writing.
I think Kilmer, suffers from his, and I'm considering we're going to talk about movies a little bit later and going to probably talk about voices. His voice doesn't change that much between Bruce and Batman, and also as Bruce Wayne, he's terrible. No, he's terrible. He's honestly, he's terrible. I think he's terrible as Bruce Wayne. Absolutely. There's no charisma to him. And even when Bruce Wayne's been a playboy, you still have that element going on.
Well, and we'll talk about it in the next movie, but do you honestly think George Clooney has more Bruce Wayne charisma than Val Kilmer?
Hell yes. So.
Oh, well, okay then.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Batman Forever, where'd you put it on your list?
Batman Forever is going to be at number 7.
Ooh, I'm surprised I had you penciled in. I had you penciled in at number 9 or 10 for that one. I'll be honest. No, I don't know what your number 10 is. All right. Okay. So in an effort to recoup failing losses, because this film was lighter in tone because Batman Returns didn't sell well to the kids, so therefore you couldn't get the Mac toys from McDonald's into it. The licensing deals dried up a little bit, because kids aren't going to buy a Batman figure for a movie that they can't see.
Mm-hmm.
So the lighter tone kicks in. Things take another notch lighter, kinda, with the much maligned Batman and Robin. So there is a shed load going on here, an absolute shed load. Thankfully, we get rid of the love interest. Poof, gone. Out the side door. Nice that Julie Madison gets a name check, but that's it. Out you go. See you later. In its place, we have George Clooney as Batman, Arnie Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Chris O'Donnell comes back for his Robin, stroke Nightwing. Uma Thurman rocks up as Poison Ivy, and Alicia Silverstone pops up as Batgirl, who is nothing to do with Commissioner Gordon. Now, you know how much I love this movie. So, right, so go on, get your kicks in now.
Okay. Understanding that this movie is geared towards toys, toy production, toy sales. You cannot take this movie serious whatsoever. As long as you keep that in mind, this is a great movie. It is not a serious Batman movie, and that's why I compared it to the Batman Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. No issues. I thought he did a great job. George Clooney as Batman didn't take himself seriously. We get a lot of one-liners, never leave the cave without it. Again, no complaints. I loved Robin's costume in this.
Yes, I did.
The mix of the Nightwing with the cape.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect. And even his motorcycle, I thought that was cool, having the red bird in there. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, perfect.
I'm sensing some Alicia Silverstone hate coming.
You talk about Batgirl crushes in the 90s. There was my Batgirl crush right there, Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. I did not give two shits that she was Alfred's niece. I look back on it now and okay, yeah, it's a little weird because Batgirl should be Barbara Gordon. But for the sake of the story, the whole peg as the password, come on, Alfred. You have Bruce Wayne's entire major secret saved under a 3-character password that so if I were to go to how secure is my password, okay, we're going to type in peg. That would take your computer in 2020 400 nanoseconds to crack.
Good thing this film came out in the 90s then, right?
Right? I feel bad that Alfred kind of got the shit end of the stick on this one. Because it was
McGregor syndrome.
Yeah. Which funny enough was the same disease that Nora Freeze has.
Go figure, right?
Yeah. I mean, between Commissioner Gordon and Commissioner Gordon and Alfred were the only two consistent characters in all four movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael Goff is Alfred. Fantastic. I also got a kick out of Bob Kane's wife is in this as well. She was in Batman Forever as well, but she had a more prevalent role here.
Oh, is that she the
Gossip Gertie.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, that's Bob Kane's widow.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking that you really like this movie. Is this going to be your number one?
Oh hell no!
So
the day this movie becomes my number one all-time Batman movie, the Finns will win the Super Bowl.
Right. So I love this movie and I'll tell you a quick story about this. I was dating this girl, and I put her on a train to go back to Manchester. We had a great weekend. I was quite upset by the fact that she was going away. So I took my mind off it. I went and go to the pictures to watch this movie. I walked out of this movie.
Really?
At the bike cycle scene, at the race scene. I was like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm walking out. And it was nothing.
That scene.
Yeah, so I was like, and then it took me ages to get around to watching it on DVD. And I'm glad I did because, yeah, there's bits that are cheese on toast, but it has that 66 feel to it. It's just, I think I just enjoy it for what it is, which is just a dumb, fun movie. I love the relationship between Clooney's Bruce Wayne and Alfred. You know, I think that's really, really something because we always see it the other way around. We always see it that Alfred cares about Bruce, but we very rarely see Bruce caring for Alfred that much. The dialogue's a bit ropey. The feminist stuff that the pseudo-feminist stuff that Batgirl comes out with, just like, you know what, you're dating yourself horrendously. There's lots to like about it. So
yeah, we also have John Glover, who plays the Mad Doctor who creates Bane. This is also the movie where Bane is actually powered by Venom.
Yeah,
which I'll talk about later, and why this movie takes a higher spot than another movie that involves Bane.
Oh, okay, cool. So,
yeah,
before we take the break, Batman and Robin, where's it fit for you?
This is number 5.
Hey, man, that's exactly where I've put it. Spot on, spotty dogs. I'm loving this. Excellent. For those listening thinking that we're agreeing too often, I swear to God, all right, we planned this episode, even though we knew we were going to talk about it. I set the format 20 minutes before we recorded the show. All right, so no way did Josh have any sort of pre-planning to see where mine were or anything like that. So, yeah. Believe me if you will, believe me, or don't believe me, it's your call, but you know.
Great minds think alike.
Would this face lie, is what you're going to ask yourself. And on that note, we're going to take a break while you ponder that. And here's an advert for the fantastic Flipside Focus.
Let me ask you a question. Are you wanting to read a new comic book that has nothing to do with the big two? Are you tired of looking through countless titles and have no idea where to begin? Well, don't you worry, because the Random Dude Josh and Johnny the Machine Hughes has the podcast for you. Flipside Focus, only on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network.
All right, excellent. There you go. Check that out. There'll be another episode this week of Flipside. Oh, no, New Year. New Year, we're told. New year, new books. Lots to look forward to from that point of view. All right, okay. So, history has it that Batman and Robin flunked massively. Whilst toy sales were probably up, cinema viewings were absolutely down. In fact, George Clooney went in the press and said, "I'm sorry for being the man who murdered Batman." Bless his cotton little socks.
Joel Schumacher, you know, rest in peace. He even came out and said, "I'm sorry for Batman and Robin," but I love it.
But I love it. I think it's just a bit of a expectation versus product. So, of course, we had to make things a little bit real. All right, so up steps the next trilogy of Batman movies, starting with Batman Begins. This movie features Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne, back from the dead after he's searching abroad. It has Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, Liam Neeson as Ducard. We've all seen the movie. Can I say the spoiler?
Absolutely, go for it.
Ra's al Ghul, Michael Caine, an inspired Alfred, and the chick from Dawson's Creek.
Tom Cruise's ex-wife with the weird, awkward smile.
Yeah, who was in Donovan for a while. As Rachel Dawes, the somewhat love interest. And of course, Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow.
Mhm.
All right. So, interesting fact, never seen this in the cinema.
Interesting fact, I saw this 5 times in the cinema.
Okay, 5 times. So, take it away, Josh. What do you think of Batman Begins?
It changed the franchise like Batman 89 did. This movie, I love the fact that it really goes off of the comics again. Really plays off the whole fear aspect that the Batman wants to instill fear into his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in this one a lot more of the viewpoint from the criminals of how Batman look. We don't have the raspy. I'm just going to come out and say we don't get the throat cancer bat voice.
Yeah, we do. It starts.
No, it starts, but nowhere near.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as where's the trigger? I mean,
where are they? Yeah, it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah, but
Swear to me.
Okay, so for those of you listening or watching, who did this movie have a worse Batman voice, or does The Dark Knight Rises? Let us know. Okay,
I'm than just the voice.
I'm honestly surprised you did not mention Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox.
I totally forgot, to be fair, but well,
because honestly, he is what made the movie for me in this. You know, Mr. Wayne, if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to lie. Just don't think of me as an idiot. You know, and then we get the, what's that? Oh, the tumbler? Oh, you won't want that. You know, and then we go to that awesome scene.
Does it come in black?
This movie really, again, it reset the franchise. I think it does a fantastic job creating the Nolan universe. I feel the Ra's al Ghul character, another wasted opportunity. Although, again, that falls under David Goyer's writing, not on Liam Neeson, because Liam Neeson he's awesome and rocks every role he does. Now you mentioned Michael Caine as Alfred. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is Michael Caine a better Alfred than Michael Goff?
I think that they are different Alfreds. That might sound like a really cop-out answer, and I'm sorry that you might feel that that's what it is. But the issue is exactly that. Michael Goff, Alfred, is more understanding. He's more venerable. He's more a little bit more okay with what Bruce is doing. When it comes to this Alfred, he understands, and he goes along with it for bits of bobs.
Doesn't necessarily agree.
Yeah, and I think that level of concern is what probably differentiates the two.
Okay.
You know? Is that? I think that's a fair comment to make. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
For as much as this Alfred has obviously had some military experience, and he's kind of alludes to that in the second movie. It's the concern element. I think that carries through all three movies brilliantly, and I think that climaxes brilliantly in Rises. But yeah, I think they're just too different. It's like saying, is Christian Bale's Batman better than Michael Keaton's Batman?
They're different.
Two different Batmans for two different eras, facing two different audiences. So Batman '89 was a blockbuster of a movie, all about the sales of the movie. Look at us, we're fantastic. Begins was practically an underground movie. In contrast,
and that's why I think it did so well.
I love this movie. I think it's full. It's got some cheesy dialogue. Didn't you get the memo? And stuff like that. But it's also got some of the most quotable lines in Batman history. I like how they use
the fact that I've got a video from Kevin Conroy from Christmas a couple years ago of him saying in the Batman voice, "It's not who you are underneath; it's what you do that defines you." Kevin Conroy saying that to me.
I have a birthday message from Kevin Conroy saying something very similar.
Yeah, and it's
so I liked how they used some of the template from '89 because you get a Batmobile scene as you do in '89. The ending's brilliant. The dialogue I don't like is, "Can you drive stick?" Really. Just give him the deck case of the damn thing and off he goes. I thought Cillian Murphy's brilliantly played as the Scarecrow. I think that's done really well.
Do you feel Scarecrow was underutilized in this?
I think not, because he serves a purpose to get to where he needs to be. He's the one character, the one villain that keeps reappearing, so that's good. Yeah, this Batman doesn't kill everybody.
I guess you're right.
So yeah, Begins. For me, Begins, spoiler alert, Batman Begins, it's my number one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's where we differ.
Where'd you put Batman Begins?
Number 6.
Right, okay, there you go.
For a very good reason.
Well, we'll see about that. All right, so just to keep everyone up in the loop, where are we? He says looking for his thing. So let me just quickly show you where we are. Boom, that's where we are at the moment, if you can see that. See that all right? So Josh's top spot's still vacant. I've filled my top 5 up there, no worries. You can see Batman Forever languishing there at number 10 for me. There we go. Excellent. Okay. That's all good and well done. Right. So once Batman began, he has his tour de force, some would say, in The Dark Knight Rises. This is Heath Ledger being the Joker. Freeman pops back up. You've got Maggie Gyllenhaal playing I've forgotten the first name.
Rachel Dawes.
Thank you, Rachel Dawes. Gary Oldman's back as Commissioner. Christian Bale's back as Bats. Mike Caine's back as Alfred. And this is probably the movie that transcends from being a superhero movie to a crime film, I guess. Very much of a Heat style. Josh, I'm assuming, looking at what we've got left, I think I know where this is going for you. So I'll just pencil it in now just to see if I'm right. Okay. Take it away, man.
So The Dark Knight, we all know the impact that this made on cinema as a whole. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, he made the Joker real.
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Even in an American accent, I'm impressed.
I can do that one. I can do that one. I can also do it. You do the It's simple. We kill the Batman.
I mean, just from the moment that Heath Ledger walks into the room, and his magic trick, I will forever remember that moment.
Dude, I've got a pencil in my hand. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it now? I've got a pencil. Do you want to see it?
Let's not. I enjoy you as a co-host. Again, it's the first time we get a bat suit where the head can actually turn. And the logic used in it was the same reason why they redesigned the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Morgan Freeman's performance as Lucius Fox, top notch. Yes, now we get the start of the bad voice that I'm
wearing hockey pads.
That line never gets old ever. And even Bruce saying, there were more copycats last night with guns. Well, maybe you should hire them and take a night off.
Yeah. I like when he hires the ballet, the whole ballet, so he just goes his trip. It's class.
Yeah, I mean, we also get more of the world's greatest detective in this.
Yeah.
From taking a chunk out of the wall to pull fingerprints from a bullet lodged in the wall. We're able to really, really get that. Being able to see really a lot more of Bruce's resources at work.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker really playing Gotham like a harp from hell. Get the reference? I mean, that was so well done. And even Aaron Eckhart's performance as Harvey Dent.
I keep forgetting people. You're absolutely right. Okay.
And while Two-Face, spoiler if you haven't seen it, Two-Face was a very minor character in this. He plays his role so well, at least in my book.
Okay.
I love being able to see the Maroni in here. I mean, he does a great job being able to see the gangsters of Gotham working together to deal with the problem of the bat, and being hesitant to even align with the Joker, and then realizing that the Joker has no boundaries and he's willing to cross whatever lines he needs to.
Okay.
Get action. I mean, even the stuff that takes place in China, that whole scene was great.
Yeah.
With Lau Industries.
Yeah. I'm not disputing any of that. I like the whole. Do you want to feel like he was wasting your time? Oh, maybe just accidentally. Then, yes, very good, sir. Very good.
Yeah, it was just. It was a complete film. I mean, and the fact that it starts off with the bank robbery and how the Joker puts that together, where each person has their own. Once so-and-so does this, take him out.
No, I kill a bus driver.
Bus driver? What bus driver? Boom! Comes in.
Yeah. What you're saying is absolutely bang on, right? This film absolutely rocks from the moment it gets going all the way through. There are some issues with this movie. It doesn't know when to end. There were 3 endings in this movie, and it's like I could have done without the whole ferry scene, to be honest. That just extends the movie. Of the characters, you say that Two-Face is probably the minor one. He's the only one that goes through any change. Everybody else stays the same. He's the one character. If you think about it, on one side you've got order with bats. On the other side you've got chaos, and in the middle you've got poor Harvey Dent getting pulled from pillar to post.
But I think Batman explains it in a very poignant way, in that when he says that because Harvey was the best of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because you have Batman, who is taking the law into his own hands.
A vigilante, yeah, definitely.
You have Gordon, who's allowing it. The police department's allowing it at this point. And then you have Harvey Dent, who is trying to do the right thing, however, is subject to being persuaded, if you will, for his
and
interests.
that's absolutely that is such a clever point to make, Josh. Well, I think that's brilliant. Well done, because he's a straight arrow all the way, but he gets coerced. He gives up because he used to investigate Gordon. He used to be in internal affairs.
Yeah, he had issues with MCU.
So then he takes his leaf out of their book, and that's what does him in. If he stayed his course, he probably doesn't even get involved in the whole Joker mess.
Well, even in the beginning, in his conversation with Gordon, Gordon says, "Oh, you don't need to tell me. We all know you're Gotham's White Knight," and that's when he says, "Well, I hear they have a different name for me down in MCU, and I wouldn't know about that."
Yeah. Of course you wouldn't. The three endings. It's like, it just feels overextended. And even though the conclusion, the actual ending, where it's like you'll hunt me, and you get Gordon's kind of speech, about him being a watchful guardian, a silent protector. Makes my, I get goosebumps every time I hear it.
But that's just Gary Oldham being Gary Oldham. I mean, the fact that
some great script.
Absolutely. I think this was one of David Goyer's best.
Okay.
As far as writing goes.
Cool. I know where this goes for you. I would be surprised if this is not your number one.
This is my number one.
All right. For me, this is number 6. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Can I change it? Can I change one, do you think?
Well, it's up to you. It's our show. We can do whatever the hell we want.
You know what? I'll put it at number 4. I'll put it at number 4 and bump Batman 89 down.
Okay.
Boom. Batman 89.
So let's show with that change. Let's show the board again. See where we're at.
See where we're at. Share screen. Boom. Boom.
And for those of you listening, this is why watching it on YouTube is helpful. Okay. So you've got Batman Begins as your number 1, Batman Returns 2, Batman 66 at 3, and then The Dark Knight at 4, and then so on and so forth. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Cool. Right. There we are. We're doing all right. We've got 3 to go.
Yep.
All right. Of course, when a night falls, he must rise once more. The Dark Knight Rises. The overlong. Breaking of the Bat. I don't know what Mark can say about this. All right, okay. Where, Josh?
So many problems with this one. Okay, first and foremost, this takes place, what, 7? Was it 7 years? 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight. Bruce Wayne is crippled. Has to rely on Kane's. It's like, well, shit, we might as well just get a Batman Beyond movie at this point. We have this
you and your Batman Beyond fetish.
Well, I'm not wrong. We have a terrorist by the name of Bane who wears a mask, who nobody really knows about. I'll save my Bane rant for a moment. We have Selena Kyle making her reappearance with Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. So Anne Hathaway is Catwoman. She's the Lee Merriweather of Catwoman. As far as the full-length feature films.
She is absolutely brilliant in this movie. She is the saving grace of this movie. Just how she can go from the different portrayals where she's like the maid, then she's super cocky, then she's the screamer in the cafe, in the bar.
Oh no, I absolutely agree.
Performance-wise, and she looks gorgeous.
And that's why I call her the Lee Merriweather, because we love Lee Merriweather, but I don't feel that she is better than Michelle Pfeiffer. But that's just me. At least she's not the Eartha Kitt. That's safe for Halle Berry. Oh, shots fired. Okay, so biggest issue, Bane. I get they wanted to include Nightfall. That was the moment they announced Bane. We all knew, oh great, Batman's going to get his back broken. It was destined to happen. While that fight scene was actually probably one of the better ones, it still did not have the same impact as reading Batman 497. 497? Yeah. I'm going to kick myself in the ass if I got that wrong.
497 sounds about right.
Woo! Yep, 497. Woo, we're good. Okay, so I understand the symbolic nature of Bane, Batman. It has to happen. But for Bane, where in the hell is the Venom? That is the source of his strength. My other issue with this, in the Nightfall story arc, Bane figures out who Batman is by studying him. In this movie, not so much. He learns who Batman is simply because of the League of Shadows. That's not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Talia al Ghul in this, wasted opportunity. I would have rather seen someone like Catherine Zeta-Jones to play Talia. I mean, Talia should be absolutely gorgeous. We did not get a gorgeous Talia al Ghul. So many wrong things. Although seeing Heinz Field blow up was cool. That whole scene, and actually, I think that was like one of the last football plays of Heinz Ward's career. So, I mean, visually it was great, but it was a weird mix of Batman Nightfall and Batman Dead End. So, and then I'm not even going to get into fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Robin.
Right, okay. Bearing in mind we've still got 2 to go. The Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway, fantastic. You make some great points. However, I will say this. The problem with this movie, and I don't say this often, is it's pure fan service. Absolutely. There's plot holes, massive plot holes. Like, so Bruce Wayne's stuck in the pit with the worst scum of the earth. When he gets out of the pit, he then knocks the rope down so they can get out. Really? Really, Bruce Wayne? You'd let all those crims out? Would you? No, he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. How'd he get back? He's got no money. He's a pauper at that point. How come he sells his car after it's been nicked? What? How come Talia, once she's captured by Bane, is then in the same place where Bruce is and then suddenly gets captured again? What's going on? It's just bonkers. It is. It's like there's no thought process being put into this. It's like, hey, you don't want to be a really good set piece? Let's do something with a plane. Great.
God, it's almost like Tom King wrote this.
This movie would have been so much better if once they broke the bat, shoved him in the hole, they stopped the movie there. Like Harry Potter had like Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had this as 2-part. It could be, because it's what it's based on. So it's Nightfall, Night Rises. You could have done it that. And that would have just meant you could then pad it out rather than trying to squeeze everything in and then getting a really overlong movie. And to be fair, I don't want to watch Top Gun when I want to watch Batman. I want to watch Batman when I watch Batman. If I want to see planes flying all over the place, I'm calling Maverick and Goose and watch out for the canopy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I appreciate the Top Gun reference. I appreciate it so much.
The Bane voice. I am wondering why you would shoot a man and throw him out of a plane. Well, it's supposed to be from Santa Prisca. It doesn't sound anything like Latin America in any way.
Tom Hardy is a fantastic actor.
Yes, I have to say that because he drinks near me. He drinks in a place called Yarm, so otherwise he'll come on.
Where Tom Hardy did the best with what he had to work with. I do not fault Tom Hardy. Again, it's the director and the writer.
So, where do you put The Dark Knight Rises?
This is number 10 for me.
Whoa. Man, you're harsh.
Bane, and to be honest, it's because of Bane. Bane had such a huge impact in the comics. And the fact that, okay, so I alluded to this earlier when talking about Batman and Robin. The Bane in that movie, dumb as a brick, but his strength came from venom. This Bane, sharp as attack, but no venom. Had they given Bane venom in this and stayed just a little bit more true to the nature of the character, this would have been so much better. I do love the idea of the second part, kind of like the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows part 1 and 2. I think that would have served this story a hell of a lot better. And the studio would have made more money from it. You end the first movie with Batman's back being broken. Fantastic.
You come back and watch the second one, wouldn't you, just to find out what happened? Yeah. All right. Okay, there you go. So I'll put this at number 9. All right.
Okay.
So we've got left 7 and 8 for me and 8 and 9 for you. Movies that we have left. All right. First off, Batman versus Superman. Now, I think this movie is much maligned. I think this movie has texture upon texture. It just works. It's a different Batman. It's an older Batman. He's more angry at the world. For me, I like this movie a lot. But Judge.
So I know Batfleck gets a lot of crap. However, we get this would say this is like the live action version of Frank Miller's Batman. Mm-hmm. That fight scene in the warehouse, by far the best fight scene in any Batman movie ever. Definitely. It's essentially taking the combat we get from Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight, and boom, live action version.
I think it's some Injustice in there where he fires the speed gun and like shoots across.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
that's how Injustice.
I like the idea of the fact that his voice is changed from technology.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so that was so well done, and he can turn it off and on whenever he needs to. Henry Cavill as Superman, having that dynamic between Batman and Superman was so well done during this. Being able to get those scenes from The Dark Knight Returns,
mm-hmm.
The fight scene between Batman and Superman, the fight that we had all wanted, translated perfectly. So much that even particular frames in the movie matched panels in the comic book. And I can save that for another pod because that would be a completely hour-long show. I didn't mind Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
That's what I'm saying. It's such a nuanced performance. Because you've got two stalwarts, because you've got these two strong pillars of identity, mm-hmm. you can't have a third one in because it just wouldn't work. It'd be like, you're bonkers. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So it needed a little chaos between these two stalwarts, just to give you something different. If you had grumpy man, angry man, and then serious-minded man in the middle. It would be like, oh my god, it's just, you know. But no,
so my issues with this Doomsday. You talk about key characters in the comics that really made an impact for these heroes. You saw how harsh I was about Bane.
mm-hmm.
Doomsday in this,
Yeah.
so wrong.
But on the flip of that, you get the first appearance of Wonder Woman.
I was getting to that, damn it.
Sorry, man.
That scene where Wonder Woman jumps in. I mean, the fact that Batman is like, oh shit, like he realizes I'm done, and then boom, the laser goes. All of a sudden, you see a flash of someone jumping in front, and that scene when she slowly rises up from the shield and the music hits. Yeah, I mean, you talk about moments that'll give you goosebumps. That will do it every single time.
I'm sorry, her in the red dress. That gave me goosebumps. Anyway, that's fine. I love this movie. I loved it when I went to the cinema to watch it. I didn't think it was fantastic at the time. I liked bits of it. I loved elements, the parts you mentioned. It wasn't until the flight to Mexico when I'm stuck on a plane and my headphones on and I'm watching it and I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I didn't notice that bit before. What? I didn't notice that. And that's
Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
Yeah, it's good.
He did talk about underutilized characters. There was a missed opportunity.
Well, he gets his own back later on, I suppose. So, in our little chart,
okay,
I'm putting this at my number 7 spot.
This will be number 8.
All right. So, for all you Carol Vordermans out there, and if you don't know who Carol Vorderman is, shame on you. Go and check out Countdown, old Countdown, by the way, from the UK. You'll find that what we've got left isn't the Suicide Squad. If anybody was wondering. No. Of course, live action Batman, Justice League. Now, rightly or wrongly, this movie, we've included it in our Batman list because he's the catalyst in this movie. He's the one that brings the guys together and the girls together. He's the guy that kind of comes up with a plan and so on and so forth. He's the one that has a plan to resurrect Superman. It's very much you mentioned Batman Beyond. This is Batman Beyond-esque in that because of what he wants to do and be the beacon that draws all the parademons away and give himself up, he's essentially trying to pass on the torch to the next generation of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't let him. For me, this film is a million times better than Avengers Assemble.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before. Avengers Assemble, they spend an hour fixing an engine. If they're going to do that, I'd rather watch Fast and Loud because Aaron Kaufman's got a really cool beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's left a few seasons ago. Don't hate me because I'm from the UK. It's fine. But as an ensemble piece, apart from Aquaman's dodgy dialogue, I think this is really good. Josh?
This movie it's fun. I loved Aquaman in it, to be honest. Aquaman, Jason Momoa is just a fantastic actor.
Have you been speaking to my wife? She thinks he's fantastic as well, but for a whole different reason.
Shit, I've met the man. You tell me.
Have you met the man?
I have met Jason Momoa. Yes, I have. Fantastic guy. Down to earth, just super awesome. My issues with this movie actually rest on Batman. One, for the longest time, the Justice League does not know who Batman is.
Okay.
During this movie, they all know it's Bruce Wayne. And then his constant sob story, like him essentially blaming himself for Superman dying, was
correct.
Was actually quite annoying. I feel Wonder Woman's performance in this is still better than Wonder Woman 1984. Again, if you haven't watched our review of Wonder Woman 1984, after this, go watch it. Excuse me. The Flash in this, Ezra Miller does great. It's honestly got one of the best scenes when Superman is holding. He's got Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg all right there, and just that look of his eye, all of a sudden going whoop when Flash is running, never gets old ever. This has moments where it's really, really great. I actually like the fact that they put in just a hint of the 89 theme when Batman jumps down to talk.
It's Danny Elfman that's on the soundtrack for this.
Wait, what?
It's Danny Elfman, the guy that composed the music. So for the Batman 89, so it's kind of it was going to be the 89.
Yeah. I feel it's the J.K. Simmons that plays Commissioner Gordon. Missed opportunity again.
Parker, where's my weight?
Parker. I mean Bullock. Victor Stone in this, I thought he did a great job as Cyborg.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I will say it's not Cyborg that he plays. It's really the Blue Beetle, isn't it? To be honest, Cyborg's armor doesn't do that. It's Blue Beetle that it's the reach tech that reacts to Kryptonians that way, not Cyborg.
And then,
just saying.
This one, to give you an idea of how much this movie does not really do it for me, I totally had a brain fart on it was Steppenwolf. Yeah. Again, missed opportunity. Steppenwolf could have done so much better, but
well, I guess we'll find out in the Snyder cut. That's not the Snyder cut; it's actually the Snyder remake. But
again, if you want to hear Johnny's logic on that comment, watch the Wonder Woman 1984 review.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Exactly. So
you're not wrong. The Parademons, I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
But this one takes the number 9 spot for me.
All right. Okay, so there you have it. There is our top 10 of Batman movie appearances. And there it is. All 10 are in there for you. All right. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You'll probably disagree, to be fair. Which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. So get in contact, get in touch on Twitter or via YouTube comments. Let us know where your top 10 would be. And do you include Suicide Squad? Who knows? All right. I'll leave that there for a little bit so you can have a look and see if you agree with that. Tell you what, it was hard putting some of those in order.
Right?
Yeah. But there you go. It is what it is. It's cool. That about wraps it up for this show. All that's left for me to do really is to say that Josh, it's been a blast this last year. Thank you so much for sticking with the show. We've had COVID stuff and all that sort of stuff going on that's kind of pushed comics around, and we've continued to manage to put out something for everyone to listen to. So thank you so much for your hard work on that. Really do appreciate it.
Honestly, it's been a great year for TTC.
Okay. Have a great new year, man.
You as well.
And for everybody that's listening and watching, please, please, please have a great new year. Be sensible. Stay safe. We'd love to see you again next year when we've got all sorts of stuff coming up, including Future State and the future of the DC universe to talk about. It's going to be interesting conversations for sure. So keep it UCPN, keep it TDC. Check out the other pods for Flipside Focus, for the indie books. We've got an Outside the Panels coming up in January. We're going to kick off that in the new year. You've also got No Price Podcast, which is kicking again, still going strong with speculative stuff for the Marvel Universe on there. So whatever your flavor, we've got a show for you. All right, so keep it UCPN, stay safe, have a drink, and all the best, everyone, from the machine for 2021. Adios.